What's going on, peeps? All right, so we last week we're going to talk about some other stuff. We decided to put it off to this week here, and it's in regards to the FCC and the bit of trouble they're in for passing their or overruling the 2015 net neutrality rules. And so, one company, Vimo, has joined 22 states and the District of Columbia who are filing suit against the FCC for this repeal of the net neutrality. And we talked about it before, and as things come about, we talk about it again and again, obviously. Now, I'm just going to go over some of the things that they said here, and then, we're going to go ahead and start talking about it. But here it says, their lawsuit challenges the validity of the repeal order based on its flimsy legal reasoning and the flawed rulemaking process from which it emerged. And then it says, among other things, the repeal order rewrites the telecommunications law by equating ISPs with websites like Vimo merely because ISPs provide customers with the ability to access third-party websites. Also, the FCC claims to have no authority to regulate ISPs, yet it purports to block states from enacting their own net neutrality rules. And then the FCC failed to investigate likely false consumer comments submitted in the support of the repeal and refused to allow commentators access to the FCC's merger review records concerning ISP incentives to disfavor the traffic, to disfavor the traffic of their competitors. And that is the basis of all of their repeal of net neutrality was, to, they say, create a, the ability for people to put their fingers into the pot and make it so that it was more competitive, which it doesn't do. It just basically ties the hands of a lot of small businesses, like mine and Searchies. It would limit the ability that we have in order to get to web hosting sites like GoDaddy, in order for us to get our websites created and then pushed out. We wouldn't be able to do that without enacting an additional charge here or there, depending on if it was the ISP to do it, or if it was GoDaddy, or somebody like that. Now, Murder, what was your take when you were hearing about the FCC getting sued now in regards to the way they went about things?
The way they went about which part?
The whole thing, really. The way that they basically were preventing people from investigating them.
That's any government office. They don't want to be investigated for anything.
Well, it's true. That is very true. But they had so much that they were caught on that, literally, they were caught with their hands in the cookie jar and still said, oh, that's not us.
Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much any government agency. They deny everything, don't investigate me, I didn't do it. I don't know. Most stuff like this, usually, I ignore. The only part of the FCC I've really paid attention to is the whole net neutrality thing, because it could affect everybody's income, like how much you're paying for stuff. So, I mean, I paid attention to it, but other than that, I try to ignore any government related news stuff because I don't know. I guess into too much political stuff for
Now, like
for the
this,
most part, but
but like this right here, this is actually from BMO themselves. This is on their own website. This information. So I mean, this is something that they felt was going to harm them as well, being that the repeal order is going to be rewriting the telecommunications laws indirect to ISPs like Vimo, or well, ISPs with websites like Vimo. It's going to make it so that third-party websites cannot be accessed. That boils down to probably half of the internet out there is third-party websites. So I mean, that's obviously right out the door.
So I mean, what are they considering third-party websites? I mean, what exactly is a third-party website?
They're considering third-party websites like GoDaddy. Vimo is a third-party. They give abilities for people to go to third-party websites. Third-party websites also incorporate a lot of your web crawlers out there that go in and find your SEO are third-party websites. Now, those third-party websites, if they can't go in and search a small business's SEO because the small business didn't pay the ISPs, then they're never going to get found. They're never going to get business because it's all going to go to those large corporations who pay out all that money. People who create websites, especially small businesses like myself, and searching, you're not going to get business. Your business will tank and you will lose because you can't compete. So all these third-party websites are just that. A lot of your extensions that you have on your web pages, that when you go to Google, and Google has all those extensions, those are from third-party websites. You're not going to get the let's see, I'm just trying to think of some of the other ones. Tunnel Bear, you know who Tunnel Bear is, right?
No.
BSP or VPN. It's a VPN company. VPNs are going to go out the door because they're third-party websites.
VPN providers, VPN themselves aren't going anywhere. VPN providers, possibly so. VPNs can be set up. Yeah, VPNs can be set up by you, and I mean nobody can mess with it but you.
Well, and that's the thing though. How many people besides myself and you are going to be able to go and set up their own VPN because they've been working too much with Tunnel Bear or one of the other VPN sites? They're not going to be able to.
No, people that just go out and get the apps and stuff and rely on, providers to provide it aren't going to, but there will be those in that boat that will do what a lot of other people do. Google it and figure out how to do it yourself. Now, I don't think that they're going to get to that point. I mean, just like a lot of things, I think it's just a lot of noise, a lot of hype, just to get people stirred up. I don't think it's going to amount to anything, honestly.
Well, being that they've already said that it's it's already been voted upon and it's already been set. The only thing that's stopping them is going to be Congress. And do you really think Congress is going to say, oh, no, you can't do that because you're going to be taken away from all the small people? No, they're not. They're going to be like, oh, how much money can I make off of this? Because you know that's what Congress does. And they're just going to let it go right through. Now, here it states further down in BMO's website that at the day of this particular thing, February 27th, when they wrote this particular blog, they did state that there are 50 votes in Senate, and they only need one more in order to get their first step in stopping net neutrality. They have 50, but they're not going to get that 51 vote yet, because right now they're looking at 60 days to basically say, no, you can't do this, FCC. Because the time of this written, FCC has put the final order in, published. So, and they're not the only ones.
Well, yeah, Maria, I think you should put a cam up on your stream. How about that?
Yeah, well, when Murder's ready, Murder will be ready. Right, Murder?
Yep.
I'm never going to force anybody to put their cam on. Maria's like, not going to happen. Imagine that. Now, there are other people out there who are filing lawsuits against FCC other than the states and BMO. You have places like Kickstarter, Etsy. Let me go down the list here. If I can find it again. Internet companies like Etsy, EXPA, I don't know who they are, so I'm sorry. Kickstarter, Automatic, Foursquare, Shutterstock, and they're right now, they are in a group that is now called the Coalition for Internet Openness, which is a pro-net neutrality group. And they filed their lawsuits, the date, on March 5th. And according to March 5th, there are now 23 states attorney generals and public interest groups who are also suing the FCC over repeal of net neutrality. So you got quite a bit of not only people, but you got companies that are stepping forward saying that net neutrality is not good for business. And this is from Business Insider, peeps, by the way. It does state here that in this latest legal challenge, the tech companies claim they will be directly harmed by the FCC's rules ending net neutrality. The worry is that Internet Service Providers, or the ISPs, will have the ability to charge a fee to companies like Etsy if they want users to be able to visit their websites at faster speeds. Generally, net neutrality refers to the idea that ISPs should treat all Internet traffic equally without blocking, slowing down, or prioritizing any content. Even though Google does that already. But it's just going to make it even easier because it's going to be, in gaming terms, pay to win. And it's not only going to be Etsy or Kickstarter or Foursquare or Shutterstock. It's going to be on us as consumers that is going to pay extra as well. So it's going to be double dipping the pot. And Etsy, instead of going in with everybody else, as far as their lawsuit is concerned, their lawsuit is its own lawsuit against the FCC. It just happens to be within the same court system that they're doing this, I guess in DC, where they're putting this through. And they're filing their petition on behalf of 1.9 million creative entrepreneurs who sell their goods on Etsy. That's huge. Hey, I got a cam pointing at me and mine's on. You can see how ugly I am. So how do you think this is going to affect, say, a company like YouTube?
I don't think it will.
Being that all these other companies are going to have to pay out?
I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think anything's going to happen. It's not going to go that far.
Well, we said that
because they're
way back when we did this originally, yes.
Because of all these companies that would be affected and the money involved, and it's not going to go that far.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that I was wishing that it wouldn't even get as far as it has. Because I think it's just ridiculous that they even had to fake people saying, yes, we want this, when no, they didn't. And every time I see this asshole's face, it makes me want to punch him right between the eyes. The hell is his damn name? Ajit, or whatever. I call him Idjit because he's an idiot. So, anyway, I think that be nice. What? You married me, you know. Somebody pisses me off, I'm not nice to them. It's not my job to be nice to somebody who pisses me off. So anyway, there are people out there who are fighting to get this overturned and get this guy out, because he will be ultimately out of office as soon as this net neutrality thing is done and over with. He's going to be gone. They're going to get somebody else. And for those of you who think that he was put into this office by the current regime, he was actually put into that office before that, by the prior regime. And I say that because they're a bunch of, what do you call them? Criminals. So, yeah, I am getting a little bit worked up because they're a bunch of asshats. Alright, so we're going to move on to some news and Bitcoins. Well, welcome back, Maria. So, I, this morning, read something about how Bitcoin miners might not find it as profitable as they used to do the cryptocurrencies because of the cost ratio is just... Oh, Murder knows that. The cost ratio is not going to be profitable because the cost versus the payout is going to be upside down. You're going to be...
Yeah, she's...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, yeah, she's backing down now because I told her she had to do it too.
Oh, damn.
Pressure's getting to you.
So, CNBC.
Wow. I'm fucked up now.
What's that?
Done got you all fucked up now.
Oh, I'm so fucking livid over that asshole in the last segment. Fucking people, they get me so damn irate.
You don't even own one. Well, we'll just buy you one then.
Well, I mean, we could all donate $1 and get a decent one, right, Murder?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got enough people.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Maria, thank you for the follow, and guys, thank you for the hosts. She's like, nope. So basically what CNBC is saying is that as of from December until now, the cost of cryptocurrency has dropped low enough that if you even do hit a Bitcoin, it's not enough to pay out what you're paying in electric and equipment costs and things of the sort. It's just not going to be worth it. And according to Charlie Hayter, Hayter, he is the CEO of Crypto Compare, and he has said that the miners' earnings have roughly halved this month from December due to a surge in interest in the Bitcoin mining, as measured by hash rates. And hash rates are terabytes, megabytes, gigabytes, and things of the sort. And a lot of people are going to GPUs for this, or they're going to the ant miners. And the ant miners are specific little boxes. You put a power supply on it, you hook it up to the internet, you turn it on, you say go, and it starts doing its processes mathematically to decrypt cryptocurrency. Excuse me. And so they're saying that right now that Bitcoin currently trades essentially at a break-even cost of mining a Bitcoin. I mean, that sucks.
You gotta think though, this is probably, because this whole article is an opinion piece. That's probably based on the majority of these miners having these huge, elaborate, power-hungry rigs.
Yeah.
So would it be worth it to them? No, probably not. It probably would cost them more in electricity to run these, elaborate rigs than it's worth to mine one. But for everyone else who's mining without huge power-hungry rigs, it may still be worth it. But you got to think though, if these big-time miners decide, you know what, I'm done, it's not worth it, and they stop, then that gives more of the coin to the smaller rigs.
Well, the smaller rigs usually join a pool, and that pool is, depending on the type of pool that it is, can be anywhere from 2 people to 100 people inside of a pool, and you all are sharing that that cryptocurrency. Once you do mine that one cryptocurrency, whether it be Bitcoin, Litecoin, or whatever, then that is shared amongst everybody that's in that pool. But they also say that, and I shouldn't say they say it, but it's also sent at whoever did the most work gets the bigger percentage. So if you have,
my point is, if the big guys stop, that leaves more. All right, so for everybody who might not have heard the other show where we talked about Bitcoin and how it works, Grim simplified it with decrypting cryptocurrency. It's a little more than that. Bitcoin is used to buy things all over the world. There's no bank, there's no tellers, there's no transaction process done face-to-face kind of thing. So it's electronic transactions. These transactions need to be processed. Well, the Bitcoin is all electronic currency. It's binary, ones and zeros. They are encrypted for transferring from person to person, place to place. Mining Bitcoin is helping to transfer or process these transactions. So what you're doing is you're processing other people's transactions. You're encrypting and decrypting for them. Bitcoin miners are the transaction process. And for it, you get a fee for helping in that transaction process. Your fee is a portion of the Bitcoin. When you buy something from somebody, if you were to buy something from me for half a Bitcoin, I won't get exactly half a Bitcoin. Or I'll get a half a Bitcoin, but you'll get charged a half a Bitcoin plus a small percentage transaction fee.
Mm-hmm.
So there's these little transactions going on all over the place all the time. And sometimes there's so many of them, there's a pool of them that just builds up. So people constantly mine to get these transactions processed, noted, documented, however you want to call it.
They are similar, Maria. Yeah.
So so like the fees on PayPal, yeah, kinda, yeah. PayPal has a transaction service of its own, but you're paying actual money. So it's going from a bank, you, to PayPal's bank. There's no bank for a cryptocurrency. It's just all electronic, floating around in the cloud if you want to. So if the big guys who help hash out large amounts of these transactions stop, then that leaves more of this pool that's created for the smaller people. Now, it may take longer to get some of these hashes done because the big guys aren't helping. But in my opinion, I think it will help the smaller guys, because you think about it, Bitcoin is, let me see, pull it up on my phone. I have a little widget on my home screen. Bitcoin is $7,819.59 for one coin right now, right? A month ago it was $12,000 or $13,000 for one.
Yep. And then back in December, it was 16,000. November, I think, was 20,000.
So it's not, if it keeps going down, it's not going to be profitable for the big guys, but it will still be for the small ones. But at the same time, you got to think Bitcoin started not being worth anything. I mean, a couple dollars maybe.
Yep.
But the more it got going, as Bitcoin was created by one guy. All right, it's like one dude just printing out his own money. He still has the ability to create more, but he said he's not going to at the moment. Bitcoin started out wasn't worth anything. I mean, people would mine these things. They'd be like, man, I got like 6 Bitcoin. Yeah, I got like $12. But if they held on to them, they're worth thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, you could almost buy a house with them at one point.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. So if the big guys leave, my personal opinion, I think it's worth it to let them leave for the small guys' sake. It would be better. Bitcoin's not going anywhere until the last Bitcoin has been hashed out and is gone. There's a set amount of them.
Yep. I don't remember the number.
I was going to try to guesstimate. I'm not even going to guesstimate. It's in the thousands as far as the number of Bitcoins out there that this guy has produced and has spread all over the world. So they're not going anywhere. So if the big guy leaves, I mean that's kind of like if you're a small business owner and Walmart goes out of business, that's good for you, right? The big guy left. Now you're probably going to get more business. Well, if the big time miners leave, all the smaller miners are going to have more to do, but more available to them.
Yes. But, like you said, it's going to take more for them to actually get that Bitcoin because, the big guys aren't there. So
it'll take more. It'll take a little longer, but yeah. When you think about it, a little bit more work, but the payout's going to be better. The prices will go back up eventually. It's just like the stock market.
Yeah, but once those prices do go back up, your big guys are going to turn the machines right back on, and they're going to be back out there. But it's going to start a fluctuation of, Bitcoin prices. When they shut down, eventually the prices are going to go back up, but when they cut them back on, the prices are going to go right back down again, and they're going to fluctuate that price of the Bitcoin as they turn the machines on and off.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's like the stock market. So, I mean, it reaches this peak of $16,000, $18,000, $20,000 for a Bitcoin. People start buying stuff. Now, hey, it's worth a lot. I can go buy something now. So once they start buying, Bitcoin starts transferring and leaving pockets. The price drops because people will hoard them is what they're doing. They hold on to them because now they're getting to be worth money. Once they're like, oh man, I think it's reaching its peak, 20,000, I'm gonna sell them. Yeah. Get their money. Just like the stock markets, you sell a whole bunch of shares of something, it's gonna go down.
Now, that being said, with the prices going down in Bitcoin, once that starts to level out, I think that's going to be the time to actually be purchasing full Bitcoins.
If it gets low enough and affordable enough for most people, yeah. Once it starts to bottom out, that's when you buy it. Yeah. I mean,
once it goes back up, I mean that's gonna be money made. Like nothing else.
I mean, you can buy a portion of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy the whole thing. You can you can go to some of these Bitcoin markets online and be like, look, I just want $200 worth of a Bitcoin. All right. So when the price goes back up from the 7,000 and something now to say 10,000, your 200 is going to be worth more.
Yeah.
The higher it goes, the more it's worth. And I mean, so you don't have to buy a whole one. You could buy a portion of one. I know people that have bought just portions of a Bitcoin and then sold them for higher later.
Oh yeah, definitely. But, that's, like I said, Bitcoins, they're going to fluctuate. Like you said, the stock market fluctuates pretty much the exact same. And that's because big fish, little fish, just like the stock market. But at what point is it not going to be, even for guys like me and you, is it not going to be even worth it? That's where's that going to be at? Where is that?
I think that if the news ever comes out, or when the news comes out, that we are hashing away at our last coin, people are just going to drop off of it. Be like, yeah, okay, last one, not worth it, let it go. But then again, 5-6 years from now, if Bitcoin takes off and is super popular, it's gone up, who's to say that this guy doesn't create more of them?
That's true. Now, on another note that has to deal with Bitcoins, Google has now banned cryptocurrency ads. Now, Google's the only one so far, but you still got IE, you got Foxfire, Mozilla, whatever the hell they call themselves. You got Safari, all the other ones that are still going to run those crypto ads. But with Google being one of the biggest, do you think that's going to hurt the cryptocurrency, being they're going to be banning the ads, or you think it's just going to help it along moving to other internet explorers, not internet explorers, but web browsers?
I don't think it'll hurt or help, honestly. Cryptocurrency wasn't really. It's been in the news and stuff lately, but it wasn't really a big talked about thing. It wasn't popular or well known until it started hitting the news because the prices got so high. Mm-hmm. It was kind of I don't know what you'd call it. It was just kind of I don't know. Yeah, only a certain group of people cared about it, knew about it.
Yeah,
more of a word of mouth type of thing. Really, there wasn't that big of a thing, like I said, until the prices jumped up so high.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, news stations are talking about it. There's ads, more ads you're seeing on the internet, and other than that, it wasn't a big deal before. So I think it'll just kind of go back to that whole, word of mouth, which is probably good for all the miners, because it's like, the less people that jump in on this scene, the more there is for me.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. I mean, I tried my hand at it a very long time ago, and it was before you were able to use GPUs and all that stuff. You were just using your CPU, and it was maxing my system out. You couldn't do anything else with that machine but just let it sit there and do its thing. If you wanted to get onto the internet and do something, you basically had to shut it down, restart your machine, and then go onto the internet when Bitcoin first came out. And back then, you weren't doing, terahashes or terabit hashes. You weren't doing gigabit hashes. You were only doing, kilobit hashes, pretty much. That was it.
Okay, so I found a thing here talking about the number of Bitcoins and stuff. As of this past December, there's 16.7 million Bitcoins in circulation. He has a total of 21 million Bitcoins made, created, whatever you want to call it. There'll be a total of 21 million, and they predict by sometime, it says sometime in 2140, the last Bitcoin will be out.
Oh, so, when I get into my prime then, huh?
Yeah.
Because I'm a young chicken. Don't look at me like that.
So, in 22 years, approximately 22 years, the last one will be gone.
We'll see.
Unless he creates more.
We'll see how that works out for him, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in Bitcoins and things like that, keep an eye on the market. Once you start seeing it start to level out after it hit drop, bottom, and you see it start to level out, if it's something that you want to invest in, you should invest into it, because once that price goes back up, your $200 could turn into $2,000.
Here's an interesting thing here. So what you're mining is blocks of data. Mm-hmm. Blocks of these transactions. How much data is in a block, I don't know. I'd have to look that up too.
Yeah, it's called blockchain.
There's that's the whole chain of them, but it's just one block. So one whole block is worth a certain number of Bitcoins. It says when it started, each block was worth 50 Bitcoins. And it keeps, after so much time, it keeps halving itself, getting cut in half. The current award for an entire block is 12.5 bitcoins. So, which is where they get their prediction of 2140. It'll keep. Let's see. Okay, it says halving occurs about every 4 years. After 64 total halvings, there will be no more bitcoins left to reward miners, and all 21 million bitcoins will be out in circulation. And this will occur sometime in 2140. So about every 4 years, it gets cut in half. So by sometime in 2140, it'll be cut in half so much that nobody's going to want to mine them, and that'll be pretty much the last of the 21 million bitcoins.
Okay, so looking at the Bitcoin block size, they originally started in 2010 at 1 megabyte per block. Then it was patched in October of 2010 to be a block size of 7 megabytes per block. And then it was dropped back down to 1 megabyte because systems couldn't handle it. Then it was upped in 2015 to 2 megabytes. And then 2016 is 2 megabytes. And that was the dynamic block size, was 2 megabytes. So all that information that's in those blocks is so densely packed that each block takes so much just to open it up. Imagine just what it would be like. You know, the amount of brain power your computer's putting into it just to unlock it.
Oh, yeah. That's why some of these mining rigs are, you'll have like an entire wall of a warehouse just full of mining rigs working together.
Now, some of these cryptocurrency companies that you get with, like FT Pool, Armory, Bitcoin Reminder, most of them can only support up to 20 megabyte blocks. That is all they can handle. If that's all they can handle, it just boggles my mind, literally, how much information is packed in just those small sizes of a block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's one, the FT Pool, they can only accept up to 5 mega block sizes. That's as far as they can go. They can't go any higher than that. That's just kind of insane because you think about how much 1 megabyte is, and it really doesn't seem like that's that much data, but apparently when it comes to Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, it's a vast amount of information being put into those small blocks of 2 to 5 megabytes. Or even 20 megabytes they're saying on these here, as of this year. I'm checking their Twitter that was put out from Xapo, XAPO, they're wanting to increase the maximum block size as of the 5th of May of 2015 was when they said this on their Twitter. They even said 1 meg is not enough. They're saying that it needs to be bigger. That's that's a lot of information, man. I guess what blows my mind is how far we've come since our old Atom computers and what they could do to what we have now and what we can do. So, all right. Well, anybody got any questions about these topics that we've already talked about? If not, we're moving on. All right. So, Murder has purchased a new game. He's addicted. He's an addict. And
I don't need any interventions.
And I think the only intervention he needs is he needs a meteor to wipe it all away.
Turned it
so
off.
He has to start all over. So he has to start all over again.
Turned it off till I figure it all out.
All right. So the game is called Eco. I call it Echo because I'm an ass. And
he's all over it.
Yeah, right. He's been playing it for the last couple of days, just non-stop playing and playing and playing, hours upon hours upon hours. And I've been watching him play it here and there, but I've also been watching people on YouTube playing it. It looks like a very interesting game. It is a Minecraft style game, but it's also got aspects of like a sim game as well, as far as having those the simulation of a catastrophe event, and you have to then build your place up, advance your technologies, and take out the asteroid or meteor before it gets to you. So, Murder, give us your rundown of the game.
So, the main point of the game, like you said, there's an asteroid, a meteor that is circling the planet. When it circles around to your side of the planet, when you look at it, it'll show a timer underneath it. And it starts out with 30 days, but it looks like real time because you watch the seconds tick down. It's 1 second for one real time second. And when you log off the game, the time stops. So depending on how often you get on, you've probably got a couple months worth of gameplay before it hits. But yeah, the point is to advance your civilization and your technology enough to stop this meteor from hitting the planet. So it is Minecraft styled. It's also like playing a Civ game. I have a server running, so the more people you have helping you out, the better, because the other people can learn other skills and help you towards it.
It's basically a community type game, really, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, you could do it yourself probably, but it would take a lot of work. You'd have to work fast, and it would take quite a while. So you go all the way from log cabin type homes. First thing you build is a little wooden home. Looks like a little log cabin. To brick and mortar. Maria's still wanting the game. To brick and mortar type stuff. The wife's like, I have a question about the game. Get in the stream and type it in then. What's your question, dear? So everybody can hear you. What's your question?
If you're playing on the server and you only have 30 days, is it on when you get on?
The last person to log off stops the time, just like 7 days. But the meteor on our server is turned off. Okay. There's no disaster.
I was just wondering.
Yes.
Well, there is a disaster. It's called murder.
No, it's called stab and spree. He's not cleaning up shit when he knocks down trees and stuff. Yeah, he's leaving the tree stumps and the branch debris, which I've figured out if you clean those up. Yeah, to your part, during stream, she's taking the youngest one over to a friend's house to hang out for a few hours. If you clean up the debris, clear the stump, clean the tree limbs, it won't happen right away, but within a game day or two, the tree will start coming back on its own. I figured out, especially these pine trees are freaking ridiculous. As soon as I cut one down, it wasn't even a whole day, and there's another little sprout sitting there. It's like, what the hell?
It was like last night I was watching you play, and at one point in time you were sitting there and you had the tree up against the corner of two like walls, and as you cut it down, you got the stump cut out, and then you got down to cut the tree down and into the bits, and then right when you were getting the last few bits, the damn tree popped right back up, right there, in front of you. That was pretty damn fast.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty quick. But if you don't clear the debris and stuff out of the way, they won't come back, which I think will end up affecting the environment. So I've got to tell him, clear all your stuff out when you're cutting stuff down. Also, I've learned the pine trees, not so much. You can't get seeds. They apparently regrow themselves on their own. The other trees, they're like Minecraft. They look blocky. Their leaves on the branches are a block of leaves. If you take your axe and hit them, small percent chance, but you have a percent chance to get a seed out of it, so you can replant the tree on your own.
Now, when you replant the tree, you gotta like till the land as well and water it, or you just plant it right on the grass and be done with it?
With the trees, I've noticed you have to you make the lowest level one you can make is a stone garden hoe.
Okay.
So you do a little, everything's in squares. You use a little garden hoe. It makes a little square of tilled up dirt. You put the tree in it. Now, with other plants, I've noticed they tend to grow faster if you have them in moist ground, which is one of the things you can look at on your mini map. All the different settings you can look at. You can look at air pollution, water pollution, animals, where they are, to see if they're migrating or moving because of the environment. One of the things you can look at is the moisture level in the soil in different areas. So if you put them into usually near a river, a lake, whatever, they'll grow a little faster in moist soil. So you don't have to worry about getting water to them. I mean, those are just little beginning things. And like I said, you evolve this civilization. You make an entire town. You can build roads. There are steamrollers for you to go flatten out places and make roads. You get to where you can build, vehicles to drive around. It becomes industrialized. So that's the civilization part of it, where you evolve your community. Technology gets better. So you end up building this whole city. But at the same time, so it's Minecraft style, civilization type tactics. You have a skill tree where you learn a bunch of stuff. But on top of that, the twist to this one that I kind of like is why the game's called Eco. You've got to worry about the ecosystem. You've got to worry about, air pollution, water pollution. You can't go clear out all the food in one area that's growing wild tomatoes, corn, beets, beans, different berries and stuff. The animals will leave and move to a different part. You can, I was reading in one of the forums, you can hunt an animal to extinction. If you go around and kill all the elk and don't give them time to quote unquote reproduce or respawn, you can kill them all off and there won't be any more elk. So you've got to worry about, don't completely deforest the entire planet, because that'll obviously hurt the air quality. Don't kill off everything. Make sure you replant stuff. So you got to pay attention to what you're doing to the environment while you're trying to advance your civilization. It makes a very, very interesting gameplay.
Well, it's making it so you're mindful about the game itself.
Yeah, it does. The only thing I wish that they would change that I can see so far, I've only got 2 days into this. Learning new stuff every time I play. It's really cool. The only thing I wish they would change that I can see already is I wish the planets were a little bigger. Like you could set it to a bigger size planet. You can run all the way around the planet in not too long. It wouldn't take you too long to get around it. But I'd like to see, at least for servers, bigger planets. So if you get a lot of people, I play with another streamer. I got on his yesterday afternoon and played with Perry and like 15 people on this server. So you get that. Yeah, you get that many people. What if not everybody wants to be in your community? They want to start their own town, right? I think that we should make the planets a little bit bigger, or have the option to select a planet size. But yeah, the game's very addictive. I like it. It's simple, yet at the same time it's a little complex. Simple to play, a little complexity with having to. It's a little frustrating knowing, like I want this particular item, and then you look in your list of skills and where it comes from, and it's like, okay, well, it comes from this skill, but I've got to learn this other skill to like level 2 or 3 before I can unlock this skill. And the whole time you've got to spend skill points to learn things and unlock things. So that's why I said it would be easier with more people, because then one person could do carpentry, one person could do masonry work, the other person could do the hunting and cooking.
Like you normally would have in a civilization anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have people doing different jobs, so yeah, that'd be nice, because then you can save your skill points. Or there's a research table, you can research different skills. Now, I thought it was you research the skill and you read the book and you knew it. No. You research it, you read the book for it, it unlocks it so you can spend points to learn it. It doesn't even unlock for you to learn it until you research for it, if that makes any sense.
Wow.
Yeah, so, which is okay, because if, like, I've unlocked woodworking and butchery. So if you get on the server, you can come to my house and right away read the books for woodworking and butchery and have them unlocked and ready to learn whenever you get the points, instead of having to go through the different skills above it to get to it.
Then how much did you pay for the game?
It's normally $30. You can find, they don't have them at the moment. They did have on one of the third-party sites. It was $17, but those are gone. So it's $30 on Steam. I think it's worth it. Honestly, there's a lot to this game, and the multiplayer part of it just makes it that much better. For $30, I mean, it's easily could have been a $50 game.
Yeah. Is it worth the price point? Says Scorpio.
Yeah, he said it is worth the price. Yeah, it is worth it.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. If you have the $30, sorry, I'm going to get a drink. If you have the $30 to spend and you think you like the game from the way it looks, yeah, get it. Trust me, it is worth it. If you like watching somebody play it and thinks it looks cool, or if you like that type of game, it is definitely worth $30.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I have any kind of cash left over. See if I can find this game cheaper somewhere.
Yeah, there's not really that I've found so far. There's nothing to fight, like nothing to defend against. There's nothing attacking you like animals or anything like that. Even the wolves, I found out last night while I was streaming. I was wondering if I knew they weren't aggressive walking up to them because they run away from me, but I was wondering if once you shot one of them, if they would attack you. But as soon as you shoot them, they run away. So nothing I've found so far you have to defend against. It's all just gathering, hunting, building, advancing, learning.
Now, is that the whole name of the game? Is Echo?
Yep, Eco. ECO. That's it.
You know,
places like HRK don't have it. I don't think Kingwin does. G2A is the one that had it cheap before, but they're all sold out now. I haven't looked at Humble Bundle. I don't know if they have it or not. If I can find it cheap again, like it was on G2A last week,
okay,
I may pick up an extra copy or two to give away.
On Kingwin, it says it's out of stock. You got to put in for the name. You got to put in Echo Global Survival. It's not on Humble Bundle either, Searchy said. So pretty much the only place you're able to get it's on Steam now.
For right now, yeah. I mean, you can get it. You can get it directly from the developer's website.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can. It's the same price. It's $30.
Oh, okay.
So the only place to get the server files to not run on the same computer that you have Steam on, if you buy it from Steam and you want server files, you have to use go up to use the Steam tools and download it, but it goes right onto your machine that you're playing it on. If you get it from the developer, you can get the server files from them separate from the game files.
And it won't cost you anything extra, right?
No, server files are free. You just have to, it's one of those, you have to own the game to get the server. And it's kind of like when I did Farm Sim. I actually had to buy 2 copies of Farm Sim because you can't play the game off the same thing you're doing the server off of, so off the same game key. But this one, you can do it off the same game key or same account. You just have to own the game to get the server.
Okay, so I was just on their website for Echo, and it's $30 to buy the beta version, which gives you the full release in beta. $55 for 2 copies, $100 for 4 copies, and you get 1 membership on the development forums and Discord. Then if you pay $185, you get the developer package, which gives you 4 copies, an in-game icon, all the way to Classroom.
The packages go all the way up to you know, schools only. You know, they give you a whole package to do this in a classroom. And I think their thoughts behind it are because of what they offer in the package. I think that they're looking at it more as a
teaching tool,
getting into programming. So they give you the code to the game and stuff so that you can go in and fix stuff, change stuff, add stuff, make mods. So I think it's more of a programming teaching tool at that point. But I'm sure at the same time, if you come up with something cool, they'll be like, hey, can we have that?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, they have all sorts of different packages and things. I mean, if somebody's wanting to spend that kind of money for extra copies and stuff.
For the Wolf Whisperer copy, where you get the 4 copies and all that, you actually have the ability to tame the wolf and a hare. And that's for only 1 person out of the 4 copies that you end up getting for the Wolf Whisperer, which is $400. Holy crap. But it does take this kind of backing in order to produce a game if you don't have the millions of dollars right then and there to put forth to it.
Oh yeah, I mean, just to see what they've done with the game already, and it's not an official full release. That's pretty damn good.
Okay, so it's pretty easy in order to purchase the game on their website. I was just mocking it up to see how easy it would be, and I clicked on the one that said 2-pack, and it had me put in my email address. So I put my email address in, and I click next, and it brings you agree to the end user license agreement and the terms of service. And you just check that button and go to PayPal and you pay for it, and they email you your keys for this, what it looks like. So that's pretty simple. Then you just got to set that key into Steam then, right? Like you would any other one.
Is it saying that it gives you a product key?
Yeah, the thing is when you click on it to buy the game, it gives it asks for your email address. So you put your email address in, then you hit enter. And then it says you're going to agree to the terms of service and everything, and then you're going to go to their PayPal. Once you go to the PayPal and you paid for it, they're going to send you the keys to your email address that you put in there is what it looks like it's going to happen.
When you're doing your email and stuff, you should be setting up, once you get it done, you should have an account set up with them. So I can go to the account screen and log in with my login, and it'll show. I'll pull it up here just to make sure I'm going step by step. Yeah, so I go to account, it asks for username and password and stuff, which your email or whatever, and you log in, and it shows me download options. You can even download the tested version that's not officially released yet. And they have Windows 64-bit, 32-bit, Mac, Linux, and server version.
Okay. I was looking at their roadmap they got for the game.
So one of the cool things I like that I was showing people last night in my stream is there's a graphs and chart button that you can click, and what it'll do is it'll query either your game if you're in single player, or it will query the server for all the information that you would normally see on your mini map, all the different layers, stuff you can monitor, the animals, the pollution, everything. It queries all that and puts it into your web browser, pops up and shows you the planet. You can make it 2D or 3D. You can go through all the different layers and monitor and track stuff, but it'll also show who's in what public office, who's running for what public office, any laws that have been made, any laws that have been proposed to be voted on. All that will pop up in a web browser. If you have another monitor, it'll pop up. Well, mine does. It'll pop up on the monitor.
Yeah.
Next to my game, and you can see all that stuff that you would normally see in game, just a little more detail in a web browser, so you can keep playing and keep track of everything in a separate window.
Okay. I mean, it does seem like a pretty decent game, though, from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm probably going to be getting back on it shortly after the show.
As soon as we're done with the show, he's already got the button clicked so he can go to the game.
The wife said that she'd play it today, so we can get her on the server and see if she likes it or not.
Yeah. I'd like to get Searchy in on it, too.
I would like to. There's quite a few people in our little gaming community that have said they want to get the game. So I would like to get as many people in our community as we can into the game, onto the server. And, I think it'd be cool to get, like I'd said last night, get our gaming community to build an online community, a whole town, civilization. Everybody have their own house, their own buildings, and we get roads and stuff laid in, and I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Maria goes, "Where's Murder?" "Oh, on Echo, or asleep."
Most of the time, yes.
Currently.
Yeah, it's I like it. It's fun. It's very addictive.
That's good. Glad you like it. So, alright, peeps. I'll sleep on Echo. Yep, I can see that. I can see him playing it so hard that he falls asleep right there on the keyboard.
I don't know if I'd do that. I could possibly see doing a 24-hour stream with it. I mean, you could get so into it at points that, I could probably stay on the game for 24 hours.
Yeah, you get sucked into the game itself and what you're doing in the game. There's a lot of games that are like that out there too. It's it's just what is the interest of the individual playing the game? That's the biggest thing, though. So, all right, peeps, we are out for now. We will be back next Saturday, 3:00, for our next show for CNG Show. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. Scorpio, Maria, Sergi, Murder, and everybody else who's there. Let me look in the chat. Who else is there? Oh, Nixie's there. Oh, don't even say nothing. I see how you are. But anyway, we'll see you guys later. Appreciate everybody coming by. Murder will be probably streaming later, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'll probably be streaming later as well. So, for us, we thank you very much. And it's like I always say, peeps, friends don't let friends get alone. Peace.